What is something the internet hates way more than it should? Someone from a different generation than them. I don't really know why I see it so frequently online. It might be some kind of selection bias perhaps, but to me it makes no sense. You can't control when you were born, so why stereotype millions of people as having one single thought process and personality? It'd be one thing to cite some sociology study or whatever about the differences between people born at certain times to prove a point, but it seems most people get their information on generational differences from Twitter screenshots and political cartoons. And on top of all that, when one generation begins and ends doesn't have a clear consensus yet. I was born in 1997, and what generation I am a part of depends solely on who you ask, as I've been classified as Generation Z, Millennial and some kind of micro-generation. I feel each generation shapes itself by the events and technology they had growing up, so it would make sense to see certain patterns develop. Like people who grew up in the Great Depression tended to hoard and never throw anything away. My generation is apparently called Zillennials, which means I had an analog childhood and a digital adulthood. I am sure that has molded me. But hating an entire generation is really silly. You're right. Had millennials been born in the 50s, they would have turned out the same way boomers did, and vice versa. Guy Fieri. Can we please leave him alone? The guy is super nice and does a ton of great stuff for others. https://uta.bjk6zooey2ollie. People hate him? I don't think people actually hate him. It's more that he's just extremely easy to make fun of. At least on Reddit, social media seems to be very over-hated. I've seen people bash Insta, Facegram, Snapchat, book tweet for an infinite number of reasons, then go on about how Reddit is so much better. Sure, social media does have its pros and cons, but let's not act like Reddit is the perfect holy grail site either. Hell, some things people complain about that happen on social media even extend to Reddit too. I agree, I like the anonymity of Reddit, but it's the same kind of outlet. I get a rush when I wake up and see that 10k people have agreed with me or think I'm funny, in the 2 times that's ever happened, as much as when 100 people I went to high school with react to a photo of me and whatever. Oatmeal raisin cookies. Gimme all your unwanted oatmeal raisin cookies. I didn't know the internet hated them, but I want to sign up to this newsletter. I felt so alone in my hate. Light mode. Less that I hate light mode, but hate when I can't get a dark mode option. What's so hard in giving people the choice? Furries. Let them fuck in costumes if they wanna, it's not like they're Nazis. Some of them are, but you're right. Don't say that too loud, you'll end up with the Gestaponis smashing your back door in. Everything. I really feel like hate is a fuel for many people around here, and I suspect it might be a way to avoid bursting out early. In any case, I notice that there is an unhealthy amount of hate going. People tend to quickly jump into the hate wagon, and I don't really feel like there is anything in particular that people hate way more than they should. I really feel like they hate too many things without really needing to, and I feel sad about it. Just look at some of the most popular subreddits. Malicious compliance. Idiots in cars. Public freakout. People starve for anything that can appear to elevate themselves above others. Emo, negativity is right along up there with sugar and heroin. Anytime I see a video of a bad driver, or someone doing anything stupid, I think that's virtually me. Most Redditors are wise, professionally established, and sexually enlightened, and are thus in a good position to judge others, but I just can't relate to that. Spiders. Yeah, this one is interesting. I've never had to kill a spider in the internet. Kids. Man, some of these people really need to check themselves with how much they hate kids. Head over to the self-righteous fucks over at /r/childfree and the teenagers over at /r/amiteasshole if you want a glimpse. Some people in the child-free crowd are just like those MGTOW guys. They say they are good without kids/women, yet they talk about them all the time. Yes. I joined r/childfree because I am a woman who has opted to not procreate, and I get a lot of criticism for it. I promptly unjoined when I found out how psychotically obsessive a lot of the members were about wiping all children from the face of the earth. Kids, don't rob them of something we weren't robbed from when we were their age. This is a great point. But I also believe most people who truly hate kids, as a whole, are people who are dead inside and long forgot what it felt like when the world was wondrous and magical to the eyes of a child. I guess that some people might not want to be poked, prodded, or hear the screams of a child in a grocery store. But that's a small piece of what being a kid is, and if you don't like watching a kid learn, or laugh, or hear their amazing and sometimes asinine kid logic for the most basic of things, then you're a broken person and I'll eat your downvotes all day. I realize there are some people who just flat out hate kids, but many people who express frustration about children are actually frustrated at the parents. Whether or not that frustration is warranted is its own issue, but still. Just my 2c. Whatever fad we loved like a year ago but not now since it's popular again. See, Minecraft, Fortnite, COD, pumpkin spice, the New England Patriots. The hate for pumpkin spice is so weird. I don't like the flavor either, but I also don't like mint. I'm not making memes and calling everyone who likes mint trash. We all have different tastes, people, relax. Saw a post once that pointed out the hate is because it's a girl thing. There was no similar hate for bacon, in fact Reddit loved the bacon meme. The Last Jedi. You'd think that movie destroyed lives. Guys named Kyle, girls names Karen. I'm sincerely sorry to all of you, stay strong. One of my co-workers is a sweet old woman named Karen. She wouldn't hurt a fly and has a goldfish named Jefferson. She's awesome. Thank you for the wholesomeness, kind stranger. Fortnite. Oh no, kids are enjoying a game you don't like. What will we do? I'm sure in 5 years or so, we'll have all the Minecraft type memes about how Fortnite is cool and new game kids play is bad. I've never once played it, and maybe because I'm not around many kids that I don't see much of the hype. But the look on my nephew's face when he plays that game is priceless. I remember being that excited for video games when I was his age, and it's mean to rob people of that joy. Any frivolous novel that doesn't portray itself as edifying literature. If you're not the main target demographic, of course it isn't going to appeal to your preferences nor whatever preconceptions you have about a genre. Pontificating about books that weren't written for your delicate sensibilities and insinuating other readers cannot distinguish between fact and fiction is just pure petulance. If you're a 45-year-old straight man who disdains teenage lesbian romance novels, why are you reading them? This book could be written with the sumptuous prose of Nabokov and compelling characters, but if you know you hate lesbian romances, don't get on the internet castigating the author for their failure to accommodate you. They even try to incite retaliation against the author by making asinine accusations as an exercise in cynicism. Yeah. A while back I really disliked Twilight, like a bazillion other people. A friend eventually convinced me that the books are pretty bad, and pretty sexist. But the degree to which people hate them was also out of proportion, and seemed ultimately reflective of a desire to shit on everything that teenage girls like. I was a teenage girl when I hopped on board the hate train, so IDK what that says about me at the time. Comic Sans they should hate on Papyrus, the font not the character. The real hate lies in that cutesy doodle font that everyone has on their phones. Oh yes, that font sucks like a vacuum cleaner. People who were born past 2000, not all of them are lazy and obsessed with the internet. People said this about people born in the 80s and 90s too. They'll be saying it about 2010 kids here soon too. What was that? Probably 100% fake anecdote of Aristotle. Complaining about kids and their books, how lazy they were, they wrote stuff down instead of properly memorizing them. I never understood all that hate on generational shifting, until kids started dabbing. Honestly? The Kardashians. They're vapid and superficial, but they're not thieves. People are willingly watching their shows and purchasing their products because they like them. And while they have many questionable tendencies, pretty much every last one of them volunteers and makes sizable donations to charity, which, based on their audience, they absolutely do not have to do to maintain their celebrity. Kim specifically has lent her celebrity to get I think 17 people released from jail when they were jailed for extreme amounts of time for minor offenses. They're not the most wonderful angels in America, but honestly they are harmless at worst and actually kind of okay at best. Hating the Kardashians has never made sense to me. It's not their fault that people watch their shows and purchase their products, and people doing those things isn't hurting anyone. They've also not done anything egregious like admit to drugging and stealing from men, Cardi B, or beating women to within an inch of their life, Chris Brown. Nickelback. Hating Nickelback became so passé once Imagine Dragons came along. Wait. Are you saying Imagine Dragons is the Nickelback of the 2010s? I can see it, I guess. I like them personally, but there's a surprising amount of Imagine Dragons hate on the internet. Anything popular is hated. Once it's no longer popular, then it's hailed as a classic. There are going to be exceptions to this that mostly everybody agrees on, but let's face it, if it's popular, people will shit on it for being overrated. Greta Thunberg. Relax people. It's beyond relax. Old people insulting and threatening a child for calling them out on their shitty environmental record, instead of engaging her with their own well-constructed arguments. Anything teenage girls like, everything that is mainstream. I know so many people that just think something has to be bad because it's popular. In most cases there might be a reason why it is so popular. The problem with things that become mainstream is that people who don't enjoy the thing, or even actually know anything about the thing, start trying to copy the memes from that thing, and it hurts to watch. See, any Hello Fellow Kids newscaster compilation video. Everything. I hate that answer. I hate sand. Women. Unfortunately, I've seen the most trolls and horribly negative and disrespectful comments when any discussion about women comes up. The hatred and vitriol in response to any type of even mildly feminist statement is astounding. Disgusting jokes about rape, body shaming, objectification, insults to a woman's intelligence, too many issues to even list. There is always someone with an evil comment and pure ignorance just waiting to say something negative about women. Absolutely agree. Incels get more sympathy on this site than the women who have to deal with them. Anytime a woman recounts an abusive or scary encounter, there's always a dude who will either not all men or women do it to the convo, and then the train takes off in that direction. Vegans. People who hate on vegans always say it's because they are also loud and self-righteous about it. It's anecdotal, but I've never met a vegan in real life who acted like that. It's extremely hypocritical how non-vegans bitch about vegans talking about their veganism, all while they are the ones who brag about how non-vegan they are. Opinion. Do you mean fact/s? Pineapple on pizza. Exactly. I understand if someone doesn't like pineapple on pizza. I don't understand the hate. If someone is going on a crusade against something so irrelevant, it baffles me to no end. Greater than it baffles me to no end, me too. Especially since salty and sweet is a completely common food combination. Opinions that are different from their own. I remember the earlier days of the rise of the internet, where the big thing was you would be exposed to all kinds of different opinions and worldviews, and that would encourage discussion and conversation. I feel that it's more of look at all these people/opinions I hate instead of just entertaining a thought without accepting it. The internet is just so nasty when it comes to differing opinions, especially political ones. People lose their minds online when it comes to differing political opinions. I've got friends on the left and on the right. They all get along with each other. We have debates and they're usually fun. Sometimes things get a little heated, but nothing nasty. You won't find that online. Because there is no accountability online. It's hard to look a person in the eye and tell them their opinion is shit. It's easy to do it online because you're not berating a person, you're berating words. The words are completely divorced from their human context. People who made mistakes, usually 5 to 10 years ago, that are brought up recently. Depending on the situation, it would be justified. But if you're going to cancel a 29-year-old person for something their 13-year-old self did, you're ignorant to the fact that change exists and people do it all the time. I can think back on myself in 5-year increments and remember cringy moments from each. People do dumb shit then learn. The squeaky clean people are the ones I look out for. Facebook is great for this with the memories feature, so many bad rap lyrics and status updates.